Alright guys, this is getting more interesting. This is really getting more interesting. Welcome back to Prospect Channels TV. Thank you for always coming out here. Nigeria is currently boiling. Ex-Militants from the Middle Belt have joined forces with powerful Igbo groups to shut down another Fulani expansion agenda. The Sokoto Caliphate is in total panic as their hidden plans are being exposed and crushed. That is why I said this is really getting more interesting. The alliance between the Middle Belt warriors and Biafra activists has sent shockwaves across Nigeria, signaling that the days of Fulani domination are numbered. From Abuja to Sokoto, the powerful dynamics are shifting, and it's shaking the foundation of the entire North. So watch as we break down the explosive details of this powerful unity and what it means for Nigeria's future. The Fulani elites are in tears, but the oppressed tribes are rising. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to share this video, don't forget to subscribe for more breaking updates on Biafra, Middle Belt, and the revolution sweeping Nigeria. Let's get there. I will be right back.
Mr. Speaker, our Constitution allows for freedom of worship of all religions. Mr. Speaker, we would not sit in this hollow chamber and restrict ourselves to just a few. If we begin to put such components into the Constitution, tomorrow the ecclesiastical faction comes up. The day after, the traditional faction comes up. The day after, all other components begin to come up. And what happens to our grand norm that is supposed to be the foundation of our existence? Mr. Speaker, Nigeria has never limited anybody from practicing his religion. You go to states like in the north, where you have Sharia being practiced as the criminal code for those states. It is because it's peculiar to them as a people and as a persons. By the time we begin to expand it and bring it into our constitution, we are not an Islamic state.
It's not about ransom. They just want to pass a message. We can come in. We can do what we need to do. And there are some hardliners in this government that are sponsoring this kind of narratives. They just want to show that they can Islamize this country.
Elements, religious, Islamic element in the Yoruba ethnic group, to use them to destabilize that mighty people who have built empires like Oyo and other places long before anything. But they are looking for some weak elements. Like Tunumbu is a weak element. People think he's powerful, but he's a weak element in the Yoruba war. These are the weak elements they want to use to be able to push the Islamic agenda. People have been telling you that Islamic agenda is a lie. No, it's true. I can tell you that I was born a Muslim. My people have been Muslim since the 7th century. I'm a Madinga. And we have been Muslim. There is nobody in my ethnic group who is Christian. All my people have been Muslim. And I studied Islam in northern Nigeria. And I'm telling you, the agenda is to push that country toward Islamic agenda or destroy it completely. So to your question, I will tell you that Nigeria does not have a bright future for now. It doesn't have a bright future for now. The elements that are in the north, and most of them are receiving grants. Some of them, even in university, they are getting grants from this Qatar, and all the extreme Islamic group are giving them money. And they are building, their power is increasing day by day in the political system. They are even creating billionaires that eventually tomorrow they want to control western part of Nigeria. The East a little bit stubborn for them. Eastern Nigeria is stubborn. That's why they are isolating them. The isolation of so-called Igbo, it's not because Igbo hate Nigeria. Igbos are the most Nigerian than any Nigerian. They are every part of Nigeria you find them. They have their own problem for sure, like every African group. But the issue, they are not the problem. But they are acting a little bit stubborn to the Islamic agenda. So they have to be isolated. And to do that, you need one of the most powerful group, which is the Yoruba group. If you don't use Yoruba, you can't succeed. And the Yoruba group is very educated. So what do? You look for the weak one among them, which is the Islamized ones, and play on their religious sentiment. And then you destabilize the country.
We have chosen to say the truth. Even if we are going to die, let us die and let tomorrow appreciate what we said. And so, as far as I'm concerned, the federal government is complicit. The day they want this insurgency to finish, it will be done. Actively, they are working with Turkey, they are working with Saudi Arabia, they are working with everything to Islamize. But the real agenda is to take over Nigeria.
It's like this issue of conquest agenda we not gone on in Nigeria. We usually see it where some area are being marginalized. A region like a southeast, north central, northeast has always been put aside when we are talking about Nigeria political circle. In this area, we have not seen any one of this area produce presidency. But it's like they want to extend the marginalization by this bill that we are seeing sponsoring in the House of Assembly now. That is the bill that is talking about national traditional ruler, and they are suggesting Ooni of Ife and the Sultan of Sokoto as a co-chairman. What do you have to say about this, Mr. Onyezi?
Well, I think to an extent it has been rejected by the Middle Belt Forum, and it has also been rejected by the Ohanese and other, traditional, sub-traditional institutions. If you are trying to conduct this kind of a thing, I think it should be holistic. Picking major traditional rulers from multi-ethnic nationalities. So whatever that are going to decide it there, things will be factored in. And the fear that, irrespective that we have Ooni of Ife, we hold him in high esteem in this southern part of the country, and we know that Ooni of Ife is a man who has been able to champion the Igbo cause to an extent, even Igbo culture and identity. I can guarantee you that. I can say that from all checks and balances I've been able to gather about the Ooni of Ife. I respect him, man, because a man of integrity is a man who believes in nationalism, who believes in the reality on ground. But if you are seeing that bill, coming out to an extent that has passed first reading and entering second reading, what is the motive of selecting the Ooni of Ife and the Sultan of Sokoto to co-chair that bill? So it's threatening the institutions of traditional government. Let me put it that way. The institution of traditional government is very important, and anything that influences it, religious-wise or political-wise, has a devastating positive or negative effect on the citizens. But where we have a funny system, where everything is being tinted towards Islamization, there's fear that some level of uncertainty can come out of it, and once it comes out, there might be some deep reservation, and Nigeria might be thrown into a serious chaos, and it has been rejected. And the fear is that having a caliphate who lords over almost everything in terms of religion, even down to southwest Yoruba land, is giving a serious concern to many other regions like the Middle Belt and the Southeast. And not I'm talking about the Southeast. When I'm talking about the Southeast, I'm talking about both the South and Southeast, factored together, because these are things that we, the Southeastern people, might think that is not okay by the way the government is going about it, trying to push it on the people without due consultation. There should be consultations, and if there's anything that people need to ask questions about, we need to ask questions about it. Now Nigeria is gradually heading into a conquest agenda. Yes.
Well, Mr. Chinedu, I will agree with you partially, because why not leaving this thing for the traditional ruler to choose their chairman. At least maybe they can subject it to elective something, maybe for the period of 4 years, and you leave it for them. If not that they have ulterior motive, why sponsoring bill and even suggesting a life co-chairman? If what you are saying is not true.
Femi, in fact, I 100% agree with you because not every Nigerian want to look at it from their perspective. There is fear already, given what the jihadist Fulanis are doing, within the 36 states of the Federation. No state is left, without a cry of help, without insecurity. That's a fact. That's the reality, And if once you are government, you see, I keep on saying it, this thing is getting gradually taking different dimensions, taking different angle. Now it is the turn of the traditional institution to face reality, and the reality is that these are people who are custodians of their people. And Nigeria is a secular nation and not an Islamic nation. And I don't know what Bola Tinubu means by continuing from where Buhari stopped, and if actually he himself is trying to push this thing, since he cannot go the direction of the political masses, then I think the traditional institutions can be able to launder it to their people. Because I don't know what what this thing is always being factored in that direction. Like you actually said, I think they have a body in Nigeria here where they can come together and said, okay, there's a resolution, and these are the people whom we are giving as co-chairman or whatever bill that's regarding or how to bring the traditional institutions closer to the government, or how to get some government enhancement and empower and deepen democracy down to the people. That would have been a whole thing. That means everybody is being carried along. Then for you to just select 2 people from the entire 250 ethnic nationalities with major regions being exempted in this, it shows that there must be more to it. There has always been fear of Islamic tendencies in Nigerian seat of power, and you can see that it's very suspicious. We know that actually there's a Muslim ticket. Shetima is a Muslim, and the president Bola Tinubu is a Muslim. We saw him while he was addressing the bishops in Nigeria just a few weeks ago, where he said that his wife is a pastor and does not have that tendencies. But we're not going to look like that. We are looking at the art of law that embodies every other thing that has to do with Nigeria existence. And we are talking about bringing this thing the way it is now. I think it is regrettable and it should be condemned. The Middle Belt Forum and the Ohanese leaders has come out together and said it is no go area. And what is the fear? The fear is that the compromise to bring an act or to bring a kind of Sharia. We saw the battle the Yorubas fought when the Sultan of Sokoto declared that before anything that can take place in Southwest, that he needs to be consulted, and because he's the head of the Caliphate and all Muslims in Nigeria, including the Yoruba Muslims.
Very, very unfortunate, because this bill, I think, is a very, very nice bill. Apart from this clause that has everything, because we need to involve our traditional ruler in making sure that we achieve peace in our domain. But Mr. Chinedu, don't you think that much more than Ohanese and the Middle Belt Forum, the people that came, I mean, from that angle, a member of House of Representatives from North Central, member of House of Representatives from Southeast, and the senators, don't you think they are the one that's supposed to kick? Because this one that they're just making, they're just talking, how far do you think their word can turns things around?
In honest truth, I believe that every representative there is Fulanized. Is being produced by the Fulani oligarchy. Every House representative, every House Senate, might have visited the Caliphate in one way or the other before the endorsement. And while you are visiting, while they are visiting, a certain agreement might have been reached. There's no two words about it. If it is not coming directly from them, then it is coming from their godfathers. So it will be very difficult at that level in the federal House and in the Senate for them to stand up to checkmate or try to balance or try to know the integrity of that mission. So very difficult. So that is where it is left for socio-cultural organizations that protect the heritage and integrity and the culture of every region who feel threatened by the imposition of these people. Like you rightly said, they would have leave it clearly to the traditional rulers to decide, how they're going to do and who's going to represent them at the end of the day. But for you to pick this North and the New Fife, for me, it is not very correct. And for Hanese, it is not very correct. And to Middle Belt, the fear of killings and conquest agenda, might also get to the level.
Imwifuru, the governor of Ebonyi State, why have you decided to punish your people? Why do you want to become a slave in the hands of the Fulanis? Why? After allocating hectares of land to the Fulani, people's land, the land that belong to community, you've decided to what? Allocate it to the Fulanis, and yet the Fulanis are causing havoc in the state. And yet, as a governor, you cannot come out and address the insecurity in your state. Then why are you a governor? The primary function of a governor or of a government is to protect life and properties. But see, even if you failed in that aspect, in that area, it is so shameful that the people of Ebonyi are being butchered, are being killed on a daily basis, just because of your words, of your alliance and your loyalty to the Fulani Caliphate. Why have you refused to come out and condemn what is wrong? One thing is you understand that see, you will not be governor of the people forever. You might win the election for 8 years. The Fulanis who made you governor can still make you governor again. But I am very certain that after your tenure expires, after you complete 8 years in office, you will leave the office. And now, what will your people speak about of you? Will they speak good, well of you, or will they speak evil of you? You've not joined bad wagons in the southeast. We know all the bad governors in the southeast. All the bad wagons in the southeast, we know them too well. Just some days ago, Fulani killed about 80 persons in Ebonyi State, and then as a governor, you've not issued an ultimatum to the Fulanis, despite the uprising in the state. How much has Fulani paid you? How much has Fulani, what contract have you signed with the Fulanis for you to keep quiet and not condemn the atrocities of these people? How much have they paid you? How much have they paid you? That is the question begging for answer. How much has the Fulani paid you? That you cannot speak up for your people. It's now, the people are now carrying this issue of insecurity. The people have now went that shaman to form a vigilante group so as to safeguard themselves. And you are the governor of the state, and then every month you get security votes. What billions from the federal government every month, and then you cannot safeguard life and property of the state. Are you afraid of Fulani? Just some months ago, you went to build mosques just to please the Fulanis. Have we forgotten our our identity? Have we forgotten our origin? That Ebonyi State is a Christian state. How many governors, how many Fulani governors have you seen building churches in the north? How many Fulani governors have you seen building churches? The same you, Umufuru, you went as far as sending Fulanis to Mecca during the pilgrimage, during that Hajj era. This year, how many Fulani governors have you seen sending Christians to Jerusalem? How many have you seen sending Christians to Jerusalem? What contract have you reached with the Fulanis that has made you neglect the people you claim to govern? Don't forget that Peter Mbatu was